Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, here today to discuss about NXT June 15th, 2021 review. This was an okay show. Wasn't bad, wasn't great, was average. That was about it. Samoa Joe appeared. He's official. He's still with WWE even after they cut him, which I'm still wishing he was not part of WWE and was with another company. Unfortunately, that was not the case. Definitely interested in some of the hype up going into Slammiversary Impact Wrestling with some of the people they're just stating that there's a lot of big superstar names that have been cut from a major corporation. They didn't mention the name of the company, which was WWE they were referring to. And we may see a couple of big names show up in Impact Wrestling, so I'm definitely interested in that for Slammiversary. I don't have the money to actually purchase the pay-per-view. I got enough as it is when it comes to AEW's pay-per-views. So I'm not going to go out there and spend another $39.99 for a pay-per-view like Slammiversary when I'll be able to view it on the Impact Plus a couple of months later. So I really don't see the point in doing that. That would be very silly of me on my part to go about doing something like that. It would be pretty fucking stupid. So I'll just try to view it another way. But anyway, let's get into this. Basically, Samoa Joe was placed on this in NXT. Excuse me. I'm very exhausted. I'm not going to be as energetic as I was in the last video I uploaded here today. But bottom line, Samoa Joe has been placed on NXT as like an enforcer for William Regal. He is no longer a in-ring competitor. They pretty much pointed that out. He is not competing for the NXT World Championship, even though they kind of hinted, they mentioned that he was interested in challenging for the World Heavyweight Championship, but they stated he's not going to be anywhere. He's not going to be anything. He's not going to do anything involving physical altercations with someone unless they physically hit him first. So that is basically the situation. So basically, Samoa Joe is his hitman, his enforcer, if you will. And at this point in time, Karrion Kross looked like a fucking asshole. The whole time he's been champion, he has not been a dick to anyone. His whole thing has been about being and proving he's the absolute best in NXT and dominating the division. Here, they turn him into a full-on prick, which I don't understand why they didn't just go full prick with him in the first place. But now, all of a sudden, they've decided to do that because William Regal is standing in the middle of the ring crying as if he was going to retire from the GM role of NXT. I don't quite understand that one very much at all. Either get the man fucking retired or don't have him stand there and cry in the middle of the ring and have Karrion Kross all of a sudden out of nowhere finally decide to be a fucking dick. Didn't make a lot of sense to me. But I have to admit, and I will say this, William Regal's emotions felt very legit. They felt real, genuine, and definitely something I feel as, an emotional pull that they did here. So I was very happy with what they did, and I look forward to seeing, where this goes with Samoa Joe. Hopefully this is a good return, and we get something better than what he was doing on commentary. Commentary, I thought he was average at. I didn't particularly care for him in the commentary booth. It wasn't exactly my cup of tea. But yeah, Karrion Kross came down to the ring after an emotional speech by William Regal. He starts talking trash, and then Samoa Joe came out. And everything led from one thing to another to what I just told you guys. He's an enforcer at this point. He's not a GM. And he's allowed to attack anyone that puts their hands on him. So there was a altercation that took place backstage later on in the show where Samoa Joe put Adam Cole in a rear naked choke and made him pass out because of the altercation that took place between Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole. The match is taking place between Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly in a rematch at the Great American Bash on July 6th. I believe it's July 6th. If I'm wrong, I apologize. Let me just take a look here on my computer, see the calendar to make sure my... Yeah, it's July 6th. Anyway, doesn't really matter if I'm right or wrong or whatever. Point being is, in 3 weeks, the Great American Bash is taking place. We're going to be seeing a match between Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole. I think this should be the main event of the show. Truthfully, that's what I feel. I don't think it should be anything else. I don't think the world title should be on the line. I think this match should be the main event of the show, and that's it. Plain and simple. At the end of all of it, we should see Adam Cole lose and Kyle O'Reilly win. We move on to something else. Probably see Adam Cole move on to the main roster, and that'll be that for him at this point. And hopefully, by a miracle from God, that Adam Cole doesn't end up being a fucking waste case like everyone else has become on this fucking roster, which I'm not putting any hope into that. So, I don't really care. Imperium and Breezango were the first match that took place. It was a tag team match, and Breezango wins the match. I did not like this whatsoever. I thought this was a terrible decision. Why Tyler Breeze and Fandango won this match over Bartel and Eichner is beyond me. The match ends, and immediately afterwards, Eichner unloads on Breeze, and Bartel joins in, and Breeze fights back, but they destroy him and hit a big double team European bomb out of the corner as fans boo, and then they drape the Imperium flag over Breeze as the boos continue. This was shit. They should have just won and then did all this. I didn't like this. This was a really crap decision. The match wasn't exactly what I would call up to par or anything. I think it was a joke. A complete, utter joke. Waste of fucking time. I already mentioned about Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole. That happened immediately after that matchup. We get a Cruiserweight Championship match between Trey Baxter and Kushida. Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole were both given the option to face an opponent for next week. They have to face someone as a tune-up match. And Kyle O'Reilly, I finally understood why Kyle O'Reilly was by ringside watching this match, scouting both competitors, Trey Baxter and Kushida. Trey Baxter, a newcomer to the NXT roster. I don't know if this is permanent or just a one-time thing, but Trey Baxter impressed me. I thought he was pretty good. Kushida, though, did pull off the victory with a Kimura lock and makes Trey Baxter tap out in a pretty decent Cruiserweight match. This Cruiserweight Open Challenge, seeing this as more of a opportunity to highlight young stars that are debuting and giving the audience an opportunity to see some new talent that they brought into the roster, competing over cruiserweight titles, over the cruiserweight title, not titles, but the title. And that is basically what I see this open challenge is for. Nothing else, nothing more. That's all it is. Not that it's a bad concept, but eventually it is going to get old. Maybe they should go a different route by introducing these new talents. You know, maybe just put them in a matchup against someone that, you know, isn't exactly the greatest performer and have them have a win on TV instead of making them lose to Kushida. I think that's a bad choice of direction there. Not that it's doing any bad for the performers that are losing to him. I mean, they're not made to look terrible. They just happen to lose. I don't particularly like the idea of the first impression I get of them on television is that they lose a match. They shouldn't even be competing for a championship of any kind. North American Championship, Cruiserweight title, I don't care. They shouldn't be competing for a championship. I also kind of feel that maybe that diminishes the Cruiserweight Championship a little bit. Because you're just having talent that has not had a record or done anything yet to actually establish the right to compete for the Cruiserweight Championship. So I kind of feel that that is a bad move there as well, because it diminishes the title. It also hurts the performer that's initially getting started with the company, and our viewing eyes are first seeing them compete is losing. That's not good. I don't particularly think that's a good idea. It's just my opinion, not actual fact or anything. I don't think there's any right or wrong way of doing it. I mean, they're highlighting them in a positive manner, but they're losing in their very first match, which I think is what I don't like at all about it. We have Mackenzie Mitchell backstage interviewing Frankie Monet and her dog Presley. Frankie has a huge announcement. She says, Frankie says the people want more Monet, which I don't particularly care. I like Taya Valkyrie a lot better. She wasn't this prima donna bitch. She was more of an in-ring competitor and did a lot more in Impact than she has done in WWE/NXT. I don't like this character she's portraying. It sucks. So she goes ahead and she says next Tuesday she will give an encore performance of her world premiere, which was her debut win over Cora Jade a few weeks back. She runs off and stops Aaliyah and Jessie Kama, mentioning how they could have won the TakeOver Dark match against Saray and Zoe Stark if it wasn't for Robert Stone. So apparently she's trying to stir the pot between Robert Stone and these two young ladies. So Stone walks out. She lies to him. He asked Monet what she was talking about, and she said that she was talking positive things about Robert Stone. They were agreeing with her and going along with the lie. And Stone praised her some to Aaliyah and Kama, and says great minds think alike, which is not entirely true at all. We had LA Knight be coronated the $1 million championship, and folks, I loved it. Absolutely loved this 100%. They made LA Knight one of the biggest pricks on NXT at this point in time. He's one of the best heels right now, outside of Karrion Kross, but I wouldn't known the difference until tonight that he's a full-fledged dick. But LA Knight, he's always been a heel. From day one, he came in, but he was always funny and entertaining. And what he did here really put him to the higher the highest part of the mountain here of all heels. I mean, all he kept wanting is the respect of Ted DiBiase, getting the services of Ted DiBiase. And he stood in the middle of the ring, and I knew this was coming as he got further and further through this promo. I just knew he was going to do something really fucking dickish, and he did. He fucking went ahead and he said, you know, I've idolized you my whole career. When I was a kid, all I loved was Ted DiBiase. You were one of the best characters on wrestling. And I had all the toys when I was a kid. I had the $1 million championship replica and so forth. And blah, 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 blah. So he finally gets coronated the $1 million championship. And he looks at Ted DiBiase and he says, you know, I've gotten everything I wanted at this point. Looking at this title on my shoulder, I have gotten everything I want. There's only one thing now I need to do. Get rid of what I don't want. And he punched fucking Ted DiBiase right in the mouth, knocked him on the mat, and started to unload on Ted DiBiase and fucking kicked his ass. And then Cameron Grimes comes out to save the day. And we are not going to see the end of these two. This is kind of a good mid-card storyline competition between these two guys. I like it. I think it's a good thing to do. I think it will lead to good things where they will eventually move into the North American Championship. One of them, depending on who they decide to go over on in that rivalry. Me personally, I would go with LA Knight. I don't think we need to see 50-50 booking. This second match that comes about, I think LA needs to walk out victorious again and face Bronson Reed for the North American Championship. That is what I would do at this point. I would have him face for the North American Championship leading into SummerSlam in that takeover event. That's what I would do. I mean, that's just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think that's the next opponent for Bronson Reed for the North American Championship? I kind of like the idea. I think it's the right move. He's coming off of a dickish type thing he did. You have Cameron Grimes and LA Knight compete against each other at the Great American Bash episode. And, you know, finish it there. Have LA Knight win. We move into TakeOver with LA Knight moving his sights onto the North American title. That's what I'd do. And I'd grant him the fucking title. This guy is fucking awesome. He has got the mic skills. He's got the personality. He's a good wrestler. There's nothing needed. Was he great in that fucking ladder match? No. I don't think he needs to be in a ladder match. I liked what they did at the end, but that's about it. The rest of it was just an ordinary plain match with ladders involved. That's all it was. I even stated it was a decent match, but it wasn't to the caliber of a highlight reel ladder match like we've seen in the past from other performers. So that's the only downside about LA Knight is if you put him in a match like a ladder match, you're not going to see the top of the line ladder match that you're expecting or wanting to see. That's all there is to it. But if you put him in a regular matchup, he will deliver. That's a guarantee. We had Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai versus Caden Carter and Casey Catanzaro. This was a good match. A really good match. Caden Carter and Casey Catanzaro, I think are a legitimate tag team that you could eventually push to be tag team champions. If you get them some wins first before just giving them the tag team titles. I mean, they didn't win this match. Dakota Kai ends up winning the match at the end of the day. But it was a great match. Yeah, maybe you could say, hey, why wasn't this just a squash match? I mean, you got the world heavyweight champion of the women's division, Raquel Gonzalez, in this matchup, and you got her in a really close match with two women that are half her size. I understand your point of view on that, but this was a good match. It was a really fun, entertaining matchup, and God knows, if you're going to have a tag team division for women, make them look legit. They did that. Did they win? No. That's what they needed to do. They needed to make them lose. They needed to, Raquel Gonzalez, if she's involved in a tag team match, her team needs to win. Whether she's the one getting the win or her partner getting the win. In this case, her partner got the win, Dakota Kai. And if anything, Dakota Kai needed the win anyway. She's been on a losing streak. She hasn't been doing all that great either. So they did everything right here. They delivered with a good match to take up time on the show, which was well deserving. They did the right thing there. The women that they had competing against Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez did a fantastic job. They earned their right and time on this show. 100%. No doubt about it. Loved this matchup. Probably one of the better matches on the entire show tonight, except for the main event. The main event did top it, and it was a good match. But this was a great match. If there was nothing else on this card, anything after this match on the card, and this was the last, this would have been the best match on the entire show. Because Trey, I forgot his last name. Trey Baxter, I think it was, or Trey Baton. Let me go back to it. I'm sorry, guys. I forgot the guy's name. Trey Baxter, yeah. I mean, Trey Baxter and Kushida did okay. They weren't great. I mean, I wouldn't say it was a fucking 5-star match. Jesus Christ. But it was a good match, but it was second best compared to Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai versus Kaden Carter and Casey Canizaro. So I gotta give these women a lot of credit. These two women went out there and busted their ass. If you say any different, I don't know what the hell what you were watching. You must have been looking in your phone half the time, not even paying attention to the match. But I'm going to give these women a lot of credit for what they did, all four of them. They did a great job here. Following that, we see a video from earlier today of Everrise watching a replay of how Hit Row destroyed their mini house during their takeover in your house pre-show. Yes, that is correct. I did not fuck up, or this is not a glitch on the camera here. It is called a pre-show. A pre-show before the actual pre-show. Fucking retarded. They send a warning to Hit Row and go back to sipping their coffee. Wow, this is a real waste of time for Hit Row. You got them looking really good, and then all of a sudden you got Hit Row facing these lame-ass versions of the Young Bucks. That's a real fucked up thing to do. Whatever, man. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. Do whatever the hell you want. You know, it doesn't make a difference. It's all bullshit. We got Io Shirai. She gets on the microphone. She's the next segment on the show. She feels good, pretty much. She speaks some in Japanese and then says her next target is, and the music interrupts, and out comes NXT Women's Tag Team Champion Candice LeRae. Shirai tosses the mic and stares ahead. LeRae says a lot has changed since Shirai was gone because LeRae is no longer an uncrowned champion, and Shirai is no longer an unbeaten champion, so it's back to the bottom of her. LeRae says Shirai has to earn her opportunities now. LeRae says there's something that hasn't changed. She still can stand Shirai. She can't stand Shirai excuse me, she can't stand Shirai, and unfortunately for Shirai, she picked the wrong time to screw with LeRae. I don't know what she was talking about. All Shirai wanted to do is get in the ring and talk to the fans, not bicker and argue with LeRae, but whatever. LeRae goes to enter the ring, but the NXT Women's Tag Team Champion Indy Hartwell attacks from behind, dropping Shirai, and they double team her now, but she fights them off, and Zoe Starks shows up for the save on Io Shirai, so it's an even playing field. Candice LeRae is pretty pissed off at Zoe Starks. Zoe Starks is calling her out, saying, come on, bring it, and she's just walking away, talking smack, and that's about it. So that was pretty much that. Then we have the Tornado Tag Team match between Timothy Thatcher and Tommaso Ciampa versus the Grizzled Young Veterans, James Drake and Zach Gibson. My feelings on this match, this was a good main event. Nice hardcore type of match. They didn't use any weapons or anything, just a lot of wrestling and roughing outside the ring pretty much. I thought it was a good match for what it was. I think the wrong team won here, and I'll tell you why. MSK is a face tag team. Timothy Thatcher and Tommaso Ciampa are the same as well. Why would you have MSK go up against Timothy Thatcher and Tommaso Ciampa? Unless you're looking to do a triple threat match among these three teams of the Grizzled Young Veterans and those other teams I just listed off. Now, there's a small problem with my idea I just came up with it being a triple threat match. You just had the Grizzled Young Veterans tonight lose. So how's that gonna put them in the hunt for the fucking tag team titles? Makes absolutely no sense. Again, like I said, good matchup, wrong team won here. I don't agree with the idea that Timothy Thatcher and Tommaso Ciampa won this match. I think this was a bad choice. I think Grizzled Young Veterans should be the tag team champions. I said it during the fucking pay-per-view of WrestleMania weekend. They should have won the fucking tag team titles, and instead they gave it to MSK. Not saying that MSK is a bad team, and not saying that they haven't been good tag team champions. But I am saying that the placement of the titles should have went to the Grizzled Young Veterans at this point, because they earned their right to be tag team champions. They were beating teams, they were on a roll, and now they've been losing. That doesn't help them out in any way, shape, or form. You also have them constantly saying that they are a great tag team, which they are legitimately are a good tag team of this modern day era of wrestling. And yet you are having them lose to a team that hasn't even sniffed a fucking championship opportunity outside of singles titles, and that was only Tommaso Ciampa. Timothy Thatcher hasn't done shit as a singles competitor outside of have a couple of good matches here and there, and the match he had with fucking Matt Riddle. So outside of that, and he had a tag team championship run with Timothy Thatcher, or with Matt Riddle too, at one point when Pete Dunne could not come to the United States because of the pandemic situation. That's it. That's all Timothy Thatcher has done so far in his career. He's been a champion by living off of the coattails of others who are more successful than he is as a singles competitor. That's all he's doing right now. They're trying to keep him relevant by teaming him with someone who's reliable to get him over. That is all this is. Why would you be putting tag team titles on them now when you could put that on them when they face the Grizzled Young Veterans in the future, with the Grizzled Young Veterans being the tag team champions? That would make more sense. They'd have a reason to work their way back up to the top to earn an opportunity for the tag team titles While the ones that beat them here tonight, it should have been them tonight, could have earned that shot, and they could have competed over tag team titles. What are you going to do? You're going to give the comeback story to the heels? It makes no fucking sense. They're cheaters. They'll do whatever it takes to win. Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher are a team that should be underdogs and working really hard to earn that opportunity. Not to mention, it makes logical sense because they are not a legit tag team. They have to build chemistry. They won against a team that's been teamed together for a very long time. They've been a tag team since the inception of NXT UK, from my knowledge. Maybe they were a tag team in other promotions before that, but they were at least a tag team for many years. These guys haven't been a tag team for 1 fucking year, and they lose to fucking Timothy Thatcher and Tommaso Ciampa? That makes no fucking sense. God almighty, man. Really, that is fucking retarded. And the funny part about all this, while I'm saying all this shit, I remember Wade Barrett saying on commentary, grizzled young veterans have great chemistry because they've been a team for a long time. So they know how to work together very well and make few mistakes. They mentioned this after Tommaso Ciampa accidentally kicked Timothy Thatcher in the face with a big boot. He was trying to go for one of the members, I think it was Zach Gibson, I believe. Yeah, it was Zach Gibson. He was trying to go for a big boot to Zach Gibson and hit his own partner by mistake. And that's what, made Wade Barrett go ahead and state what he stated. And it's the truth. They're a team that has been together for a very long time, for many years, and you got the fucking Ciampa and Thatcher winning this match when they've only been together for about 6 months possibly? Not even? This really fucking pisses me off. That's a joke, man. Really, that's retarded. That's it, guys. I have nothing to say on this. Good match for the main event, but bad choice of who won this fucking match, man. Really, I thought that was shit. Anyway, guys, you know what to do. Hit the like button if you like this video. Hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to the channel, of course. And leave a comment down below. I'll definitely get back to you on that. And I thank you guys very much for watching. Have a great night, guys. Bye.